Hello, my name is Jenna Bosiger, and you're watching Cryptid's YouTube channel. On this episode, I'm back in the Valley of the Mastodons on another photo shoot, and on this trip, I photographed one of the best stone giants ever, and it looks exactly like a reptilian creature with shoulders, and next to it, what I see is a big one, and in front of it a little one, and both of their heads look like they've slid off. And I found many more, and it is a common theme for these rocks to look like reptilians and dinosaurs and have scaly skin and be creatures like that. The rest of his body is buried in the ground, just like many of the mastodon and dinosaur bones that have been dug up in this area. I have heard Roger Spur from Mud Fossil University talk about the stained red stones that are on some of these stone giants, and these have that same stained stone, and it isn't on the surface or the texture like moss. It's like stained into the rock. Like at one time it flowed like liquid blood and stained the rocks on the petrified bodies. This one looks like the top of someone's head. Looking at them, you can see up their nostrils, and there's actually holes, it looks like, where the nose holes would be. It's like a face looking up. This looks like some kind of giant lizard's fin of some kind sticking out of the liquid ground, like it's part of his back or something. And you can also see many of these other reptilian looking creatures, just the tops of their heads barely sticking out of the ground as if they were drowning in a sea of liquid and deluge. When I first saw this stone, I immediately thought it looked like a giant snake's head, and I was going to draw it. So I drew it, and I drew where I thought the eye would be, and then I went on the internet to find a diagram of a snake to place over the top of it just for the fun of it, and I found one that showed the brain and the eye and something called the Jacob's organ. And when I placed the transparency onto the stone snake, both the stone and the diagram corrected my drawing because I had put the eye in the wrong place, and I put the eye where the brain is supposed to be, and this thing called the Jacob's organ, which is also on this stone snake. And then you can see where the eye socket is, and that's where the eye goes. So I had to correct my drawing based on not only a diagram, but on this stone snake. And then if you look up at the mouth area where the tongue should be, you see a red snake. It looks like a red snake tongue. I mean, right where the mouth is. And so there I drew it in so you could see it better. It's red. You can see the scales, and I thought that was interesting. This one looking like some large reptilian creature trying to stay above the water. and the water is actually now the dirt. This looking like a creature with a long snout, but not so much like a dog, but more like some sort of a reptilian, lizard, crocodile kind of strange humanoid creature from back in the days of the mastodons, from which this area is named. These two looking like they're locked in a last kiss and embrace before the inevitable impact that was sure to kill them. And look at these parts. This round cylinder that fits into the stone, this doesn't seem natural because it looks like parts to something. And could these be pictographs that are so old they've been overlooked? I also saw a lot of drill holes in the stones, and these stones also look like they've been carved into by man. And just down the road is maize stone that's been made by prehistoric people that we don't really know anything about. Or have these purposely been played down so that they can continue with the building of the track homes? This is the only place left at the end of this valley that hasn't been turned into track homes. And they're coming. They're coming. Well, that's going to do it for this episode with these pretty amazing photographs that I took that might be crushed and turned into the cement that paves the track homes that will be here one day. If you're like me, though, and you find these things interesting, please subscribe because I have a lot more in store. And until next time, bye!